All right, everybody, on this screen, I'm going to show you just one more example like the one that we went over on slide 8, where you're going to see to solve the system of equations, there's nothing that I can really combine here. I don't know what x or y is equal to in either of these equations, so I'm not going to be able to just like take an x and substitute it here because I don't know what x is equal to. And again, I also don't know what y is equal to in either of these equations, so that's something that we need to fix first. So again, we showed you this on screen 8, but I'm just going to show you one more time here in case you need it. So for these challenging problems, the first thing that you need to do is you need to take one of these equations and solve for a variable. So I'm going to get a variable totally by itself because then I'll have something to substitute. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. I'll just kind of stick with my first equation here, and I'm going to get x all by itself. All right, so to get x by itself, you just have to take anything that's not the x, slide it over to the other side. So I slide over the 8y. It automatically does the inverse operation. I slide this 4 over. All right, so at this point, this means 20 minus 8y divided by 4. The way formative works is if you try to divide that, it's going to kind of shake and tell you that you can't do it. But what I really want to do is I want to do the 20 divided by 4 and the negative 8y divided by 4. So if you want to simplify this, click on the 4 and drag it up. And then it will let you like divide each part separately. All right, so then we get x is equal to 5 minus 2y. At this point, now this looks like every other equation that we've been solving for the past couple days. I know that x is equal to 5 minus 2y. So now when I try to drag this, it's going to let me do that because now it knows what to replace the x with, right? If x is equal to 5 minus 2y, just put the x right there, 5 minus 2y shows up, and then I start clicking through all the different steps here, start combining my y's, separating my numbers or my constants, and then we get that y is equal to negative 1. And if I substitute that back into this equation, I get x is equal to 7. All right, so to show that my answer is correct, I'm just going to go over here and just plug both these numbers into my original equations. And here we're just showing that my equation is going to stay balanced. All right, so if I put a 7 and a negative 1 into the first equation, I have a 20 on both sides. So that means that 7 and negative 1 is a solution to the first equation. And I can do the exact same thing here. Because again, I get the same number on both sides. So that means that I know my answer that I got here have to be correct. All right, so I'm going to reset the screen just to show you one more thing. But again, the answer is 7 and negative 1. And the general strategy that you're going to have to use on the next couple slides is just that before you substitute, you're just going to need to figure out what one of your variables is equal to. So the first time I did it, I figured out what this x is equal to. But there's a lot of ways I could have done this question. So if you wanted to use the second equation, and if I slid this over and got this y by itself, right? So like totally different way of starting this question. But again, I kind of just want to show you that it doesn't matter, because if you were to find y and get y by itself and then plug this back into the first equation, right? So kind of backwards of what I did the first time. So your math and your numbers might look a little bit different on the way, but your answer should be the same. So I got x is 7 the first time I did it. I got it the same here. If I put this 7 back into this problem, then I get that y is negative 1. So the answers are exactly the same. So if you're looking at a question on the next couple slides and you're trying to figure out what variable to get by itself, the answer is really any of them. So as long as you get any variable by itself, then you should be able to get the correct answer, right? So if I did this one, for example, right? So now that I know what y is equal to, I can plug that back in. I'm not going to go through all the steps here because I'm hoping you kind of get the point, but you just need to get any variable by itself, plug that into the other equation, and it should lead you to the correct answer.